and how 112, you look at 120 and how three 120s, the trinity at 360 degrees, and how 112, the decimal of that, which the radians of 24-hour time zones, which is 60 minutes for 12 hours to equal 24 hours in a day. This radian of the 15 degrees, which gives you the 12-hour 60-minute time zones, versus the perfection of the measure of the 18 degrees, which gives you 10 houses for 90 minutes. So when you look at the months and the moon cycles and 4 weeks, 13 times 52 weeks, and how the 13 moons, the 13 months, and the 28-day cycles, and these calculations are essential. The expose of moonlight to wander, to gaze moodily. You understand the mood changes, the minstrel, and these ancient people that navigated according to these star systems. We look at Nimrod and Narmer's palette, Queen Khalifa, and these ancient stories of these ancient travelers, these ancient Nagus that used the Sirius star. We look at Sodet and the Dog Star and Anubis and Lupercalia, and the use of these different star systems. Sadupu, which is the god of the east. When you look at Kadim, Mount Seir, and these regions of Nekim, the Red Mound, and this location of the door into the land of the Amanit. So the ending of Taurus, where Gemini comes into play, where we transfer him from Taurus, of the tropical zodiac of Taurus, into Gemini. Understand the Gem and I and Horus, and the significance of different portals and transitioning in between this domain or this turning point. We look at number 2 here into this last portion. So today's video is about this time of Virgo. As we know, the seasons, time, as we head into this time of fall. So what I'm going to be looking at is this Virgo. And when we understand the Virgo, we got to understand this term called the Virgin's Cape. Now, we got to understand that the Virgin's Cape is from the twilight of 18 degrees here off the coast of West Africa, in 18 degrees east from where the mist of the Ring of Fire, where the consumption, the ending of a day is. So these seasons, these tropics, for the ancients, as I explained before, for traveling, the winds, before the motor, time and the measuring of time, the golden mean spiral and the measure of pi, circumference of the circle, and how time and the hours, the formation of, when we look at the lunar versus the solar, when we look at the calculations of time in this lunar of 360 degrees in these 320 degree angles, when we understand 1/12 of the moon a month, and how these calculations of constellations in months are essential to understanding the hours and the time zones and the times of the constellations and the houses, and the dividing of different houses for the constellation, for the circumference of time, for the semi-annual processes of spring and summer, fall and winter. So when we look at the masculine Old English italic Celtic Americana word for only month. So when you see this location here in this region along this 90 degrees, what we see here, we understand the Tropic of Cancer, the summer, and what takes place of the fall, and then into the winter, and then into the other equinox. So when you understand the equinox and these spring equinox in the afternoon, when the sun causes a shadow to play, so it appears that a huge serpent is descending from the sky down the pyramid. So this is what takes place on this pyramid here on this 90 degrees. Now understand why at noon. When you understand when it's high noon here, it is midnight in this region. Because we understand the mathematics of time and the measure of 144 degrees of darkness. We understand that the sun's dominion is 180 degrees with the different twilights of dawn and dusk, leaving 144 degrees of darkness. So when the sun in the Tang. Understand that the emperor of the Wu of the Han Dynasty, that the Queen Mother West met during the height of the Wu's reign. She visited him during the double seven. So we understand. We're gonna look more into this Queen Mother of the West, but we gotta understand when we look at the Queen Mother of the West. This is the ancient East of the zodiac Virgo, from this region of Florida, the land of flowers, into the Amazon, dealing with the Amazonian. So if you watched that movie Wakanda and you saw, understand the matrons, the matriarch. So when you look at the Shun, Oshun, Ishun, and the apple of one's eye. You look at this, we're looking at the Virgo and this time of a Day of Atonement, the ending of the year, dynasty, and how these connections of these ancient, when you look at the Khoi, these ancient people traveled and are found on every landmass. Melanated people on every landmass. More oracle bone script here, showing you where the Shang dynasty. So understand when the crossings took place after the winter solstice, after we came into the time of the fall, during the time of the winter, we would cross over this time and head into these different lands. But understand the Cape, the beginning. When you look at this 30-degree mark here, the time of Leo, as we've just ended that, it came into this time of the Virgo, of the Amazons. When you look at these Brazilians and these aboriginal people here, Louisa, one of the oldest skulls found here. This type can be found in Australia, proving this cross-Pacific migration. When you see that the oldest skulls found here are in relation to the Melanesian people that you find here. Time and the measuring of time, the golden mean spiral and the measure of pi, circumference of the circle, and how time and the hours, the formation of, when we look at the lunar versus the solar, when we look at the calculations of time in this lunar of 360 degrees and these 320 degree angles, when we understand 1/12 of the moon a month, and how these calculations of constellations in months are essential to understanding the hours and the time zones and the times of the constellations and the houses and the dividing of different houses for the constellation, for the circumference of time, for the semi-annual processes of spring and summer, fall and winter. So when we look at the masculine Old English italic Celtic Americana word for only month,